Morning, everyone. Welcome to the program Yoga and Holistic Medicine. Once again, today we have our eminent speaker, Steve Thelermont, all the way from the Seychelles. It is my honor to introduce such a great personality. An accountant, he is an accountant by profession, but yogi at heart. Fell in love with yoga at a very young age. He is one of the founding member of Yoga Association at Seychelles. He has attended yoga training at Shree Hanuman Prasarak Mandal, Amravati. He also attended various training sessions conducted by Dr. Arun Prasarak, International Yoga Guru in Seychelles, the founding father of the association. He has attended the training at SVSA Yoga University, Bangalore, Karnataka. Mr. Steve is also a member of organizing committee for the International Day of Yoga celebration and has acted as a lead instructor on several occasions. He has also participated in local televised yoga programs on the local television stations. He has also participated in various exchange on visiting Indian vessels where he has conducted yoga sessions, notable the INS Kolkata and INS Suvarna. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And I request Steve Thelermont to please continue for the session.
Thank you.
Mr. Steve.
So my PPT is ready.
Yes, sir.
My PPT. You're supposed to. I sent it yesterday, and this is supposed to show it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So okay. So hello everyone. My name is Steve Telemo, as previously presented. Okay, I come from the Seychelles, and I'm from the Yoga Association of Seychelles. So it is an honor and a pleasure to be with you today, and thank you for inviting me, because HVPM and the Degree College is really a place where anytime they ask me to come, it's always a pleasure to serve. So for today, it's just a very simple discussion about, does yoga make you happier? So ultimately, we all seek happiness from one form or the other in our lives. And it is for this very reason that we all try and find various ways to navigate through this stressful, high tension world in which we live in. And we try to make sense of everything. Ultimately, we all try to seek to be happy. And I chose this topic for today to highlight the common person who practices yoga for self-improvement, for looking for simple avenues to improve their lives, whether to better their health, physical and emotional balance in their life. We all have our own personal reasons. So, as a yoga teacher, I've always been inspired by the changes which yoga brings in the life of the practitioners, like persons who come just to seek better ways to sleep better. And it is always a pleasure to see them when they come back and they say, "So, I slept better last night. I slept better than I've slept for a long time." So it gives you a lot of satisfaction and pleasure. So this is one of the ultimate goal of yoga, is try to improve the practitioner itself. Others who might be suffering from depression, they must just come up and say, "I feel better now. I can smile." And as my mentor, Sir Arun Kodaska, Dr. Arun Kodaska would say to me, Yoga is for everyone. Anyone can practice yoga. So yoga is made for anyone. And yoga, personally for me, it does not discriminate. Rather, the practice molds the individual and helps the individual to try and make sense of everything, try to take up the challenge in which the world brings, and to be a better person. So, can you move on to the next slide? So, for today, our content is why the subject, introduction, the meaning of happiness, what influences happiness in a human being, quotes on happiness, and what happens when you do yoga, and three researches on yoga, and ultimately the aim of yoga and a conclusion. Can you move on to the next slide, please? So, why the subject has already been covered, and I would repeat myself by Dr. Arun Kadaska. Yoga is for everybody. Anyone can practice yoga. Can you move on to the next one, please? Good. So ultimately, we all seek happiness in our lives. It is for this reason that this discussion is more geared to the common person, as I've already said, who practices yoga, find the benefits to improve their lives. In this short discussion, I would highlight various definitions and few interpretations on happiness itself, the search for meaningful definitions from some yoga masters, and make sense of it and move on. Previous speakers and speakers who would come after me will cover various technical aspects of yoga, yoga scriptures and all that, and they are brilliant scholars in their own right. But I will cover mostly very subtle matters of happiness and where yoga brings happiness in your life. And can you move on to the next slide, please? So, the Merriam-Webster dictionary defines happiness as a state of well-being and contentment, a pleasurable or satisfying experience. The Cambridge Dictionary defines happiness as the feeling of being happy. And some psychologists regard happiness as an extreme, strong, positive emotion, as a perfect, lasting state of intense satisfaction. In effect, it's really a secretion of happiness hormones right in the brain area, whereby we feel happy, we feel the illusion of being happy. So these are the definitions in which they put it. So from his book, The Teachings of Swami Satyananda Saraswati from Bihar School of Yoga, he spoke about the meaning of happiness to some of his students and some of his disciples. He said that we are unhappy, not because we have money, not because somebody is dead in our family, not because something has gone wrong. We are unhappy because we are searching for happiness in diversity. So there is this constant search for happiness within us. So a lot of people associate happiness with having a good car, getting good position in life, family, good health and all that. But sometimes these things are really just for a short period of time. And then when it outlasts itself, you become unhappy. And then you find other things to be happy about. And so it's really a balancing effect. Can you move on to the next slide, please? Next one, please. And Swami Vivekananda, he spoke a lot about this, and he's given a lot of discourse about the meaning of happiness. I took an extract from his book, The Discourse on Jnana Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. As long as we require someone else to make us happy, we are slaves. So, in effect, the true happiness in which we seek is the happiness which is within us, and not the happiness which is from external influences or things which are from value or which only are for a short period of time. He went on to say in another quote, both happiness and misery are chains, the one golden, the other iron, but both are equally strong to bind us and hold us back from releasing our true nature. So the true nature of happiness lies within the individual himself. So it is the individual which needs to seek true happiness, which comes from within. Can you move on to the next slide, please? So this was a survey done by Ipsos. What influences happiness in humans? The survey finds that across the world, people most look for their health and well-being. So this was one of the core center which people found that their health and well-being was the main cause for their true happiness, both physical and mental. Their family, spouse, partner, and having a sense of purpose as what gives them the great happiness. So the sense of purpose in life, the sense of purpose in which yoga brings, this is where we link yoga to all of these things, where physical and mental, whereby yoga brings physical and mental solution, and also yoga brings happiness and gives you a sense of purpose, because with the practice of yoga, the practitioner would look within, the practitioner will seek within, and truly you will find this person this experience in which you are looking for within, which is true happiness in itself. Next comes the living conditions, feeling safe, in control, being in nature, and having a meaningful job, and having more money. So gradually, slowly, people are becoming more self-aware that things with value no longer brings happiness, and that things which are more important are things which we cannot buy with money, like your wealth, like your health, like your mental balance and all that, in which you as an individual have to work on it. So you as an individual, you have to work on your mental, your physical well-being. So can you move on to the next slide? So from positive psychology, they outline 4 features in which influences a person's happiness. They would say a pleasant life. Do you feel pleasure? So being good, your mood. A meaningful life. Am I contributing to the greater good? So you have meaning within your life. A balanced life. Am I able to gain satisfaction from multiple life domains without neglecting the other? And engaging life. Am I engaging in activities that I find satisfying? So it's all subjective to the individual. And like I read further, happiness, if I live in India and I live in Seychelles, how you define happiness and how I define happiness will definitely be different culturally, values, and all that. So happiness can be measured differently and has different meaning for different people all around the world. But as I previously mentioned in the survey which was conducted, the most prevalent one was health and well-being, which goes all around the globe. So we all seek this health and well-being, which truly brings true happiness. So if you are healthy, you have no worries, and you have no other resulting effect of being unhealthy. So you are sad, you are depressed, your mood is ruined and all that. So with true health and well-being, that where happiness truly lies within us. Can you move on to the next slide, please? So what happens to your body when you do yoga? So from different researches, and I took this from a an article written by Gemma Clark. Okay. Similarly to the other regular exercises, practicing yoga releases endorphins, which is the good hormone. So, but yoga goes beyond releasing of good hormones and all that, whereby you have the practice of pranayama, which is added compared to other physical exercises. And then we have the meditation or relaxation, which is practiced commonly nowadays, whereby the individual would relax, would calm the mind, and will look within. So yoga uses a combination of mind, body, and spirit combination, uniting all three of them into one core activity, whereby the individual gains more advantage from yoga compared to other physical activities. So one is your mental health, one is your physical, and one is inner, such as influencing reduction in blood pressure and cortisol, which is the stress hormone. So it reduces stress. So researchers have found that the practicing yoga produces higher GBA levels, which are associated with lower levels of depression and anxiety. So yoga is used to help people deal with depression, anxiety. So if you feel less depressed, you have less anxiety within you, so your level of happiness will increase in one way or the other. So there is a correlation with yoga, depression, anxiety, and happiness. So with regular practice, yoga allows the individual to develop breath control and lengthen breath retention. Research has found that slow rhythmic diaphragmatic breathing tones the vagus nerve. This plays an important part in balancing emotional and physical health and is associated with the parasympathetic nervous system, which relates to your rest and your digest mode. So all of these things bring benefits. So good health, good mental health. So when you are not worried, when you are not disturbed, the mind is not disturbed, the mind will not disturb the body. And so the body will become more healthy and remain and retain health. So next slide, please. So I've highlighted three researches which have links to yoga and happiness. Okay, this is an article from the Online Journal of Multidisciplinary Research, published in September 2016 by Ram Kumar Gupta, Shailandra Singh, and Narendra Singh. They did a research on does yoga influence happiness and mental balance, a comparison between yoga practitioners and non-yoga practitioners. So what they did is they assessed the body, the mind, and the spirit differences between yoga students and compared it with non-yoga practitioners. So they did all these tests in a clinical test, okay? And they found that there was a significant difference between yoga and college students, which was found that on the body, mind, and spirit measurement instrument. So they found that people who practiced yoga more regularly felt more happier, dealt with stress better, and were able to live a more stressful life and a more focused life. Their attitude was different compared to the non-yoga practitioners. But however, they address that more research needs to be done to delve deeper into the subject because the the sample was quite limited and it only showed a small amount of results. So this needs to be done on a larger scale to show the true correlation between yoga practitioners and non-yoga practitioners, whether there is more happiness in yoga practitioners and or non-yoga practitioners, or if there is not any. So next slide, please. So another one, which was published in the International Journal of Yoga by in July 2010 by Elizabeth Monk Turner and Charlie Turner. Does yoga shape body, mind, and spiritual health and happiness? Differences between yoga practitioners and college students. So it was similar to the one above. And they also found that yoga practitioners showed higher levels of happiness and mental balance compared to non-yoga practitioners. So we're starting to see a trend that people who practice yoga have a different mood, a different aspect in life, a different way of addressing things, or a different way. It really actually changes the individuals. And so there is a difference between yoga practitioners and yoga non-practitioners. And another one, can you move on to the next one? This one was published in International Journal of Humanities and Social Sciences, Invention, which was published by Dr. Shiva Lik Yadav. He's an assistant professor, entitled A Study on Correlation Between Yoga Practice and Happiness. So, similarly, I'm just taking an extract from the research. Happiness is a state of emotional well-being and contentment that a person experiences when good things happen in a specific moment, or generally positive evaluation of one's life and accomplishment. Happiness is something which is desired by all human beings. Everyone seeks happiness in all spheres of life. So the main findings of this research was that there exists a significant difference between before and after using yoga techniques on happiness. There is a positive but low correlation between yoga and happiness. There is no gender difference in terms of the effect of yoga and happiness. So there is no difference between a man and a woman. So if a man practices yoga for the effects of happiness, they will reap the same as a woman. But other researchers have shown that mostly yoga is mostly practiced by women all around the world, and mostly all of the researchers have limited male participants. And there is some suggestion and direction for study in this area, like a sample of study that could be increased. So further researches need to be added for this one, just like the similar to above. We need to delve deeper into this in regards to how yoga improves an individual's life in terms of happiness. But the problem with happiness is that some definitions, happiness cannot be really measured in terms of just like any other subject. It's really subjective. So one participant can come today, they're in a bad mood. Another can come happy. So how can you differentiate between the effects of yoga and happiness? And he also suggested that this should be broadened throughout India. And I think this should be done all around the world, whereby this study should be used in such a way to find ways to improve people's life, because the world as it is, even in my country, we all seek to be happy. And with this high pressured life that we all live in, we need to find means and ways to find true happiness within our lives, within society, and within the world. And this will create a better place for all of us. Can you move on to the next slide, please? And the ultimate aim of yoga is a conscious process of gaining mastery over the mind. So, as we have previously read, that happiness is based on your mood, other influences, hormones, and all that. So, through the practice of yoga and mastery of your own mind, you will master your own happiness within. So that is one take you can take out of this. And yoga is essentially the integration of personality at all possible levels. That is physical, mental, social, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. As Mahama Yoga Walker, yeah, mentioned, skillful union is between individual soul and supreme soul, or union with the supreme divine reality. So, for common people practicing yoga, you will have the benefits of yoga, which is improved health, lower hypertension, which is proved and can be measured, lower depression rate, improving your mood, dealing with anger management. A lot of people are more interested in weight loss nowadays, which is already there in yoga. And all these benefits of yoga provides the individual with happiness. Maybe it might be for a short time, but it does really bring happiness into the individual. Like some people are really unhappy with their weight problems. And so by doing yoga, removing your weight, just like any other form of exercises, I would not just say that yoga is the only practice in which you can lose weight. There are different various methods. So it really brings self-confidence within the individual and changing the mood of the individual by releasing of good, happy hormones within you, changes your mood, it changes your attitude. And the practice of meditation, when the individual would look within, when the individual would relax, will calm the mind down, will bring a new individual, a much more molded individual forward. Next slide, please. So, conclusion, happiness is a state of mind, and with the practice of yoga, mental balance is maintained. By practicing yoga regularly, the practitioner will reap the benefits of good mental health, healthy body, and a balanced state of mind and balanced. Um, uh, as Swami Satananda Saraswati would say, what is yoga? What does yoga do to us? And if I practice yoga, what do I get? And he answered simply, the answer is self-evident. A healthy body without tension, a peaceful mind without tension, and a pure emotion without tension. So without tension in our lives, we will build a happier, peaceful life. And so that is my take on yoga and happiness. It's just a brief discussion. Apologies, it's really short because I had the flu for this whole week, so I didn't really have time to prepare much. But this is just a small take in which you can meditate on whether yoga has truly brought happiness within your own personal lives, whether you have benefited from yoga. Sometimes we speak about a lot of texts and a lot of quotations from yoga, but do we as individuals actually sit and think, has yoga provided change within me? Has yoga brought an effect within me? Is it worth it to practice yoga? So the answer is simply yes. And I thank you for inviting me for today. And I will close here.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a really wonderful session, and certainly yoga will bring happiness, as you have given the references from the research. Also, there are many things, many researches what we in the part of or as an organizing committee, we also recommend all the participants to go throughout the researches which is referred by Mr. Steve Thelermont, and also you can go and search for the researches which gives the relationship of happiness with yoga or happiness due to yoga. So thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. And I request everyone we will meet at the session of 2:30 p.m. sharp live again. Thank you so much. The link will be
Thank
provided
you.
in the WhatsApp group. Thank you. Thank you so much, Steve, sir. It's been a great pleasure having with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.